Hey there, I'm Eternal, and I'm an object show fan that has barely watched any object shows. We have to fix that. Let's play Object Catchup. Hello and welcome into Object Catchup, the series where we discuss object show episodes right after watching them. Whether they are new or old, famous or unknown, it doesn't matter. We will get to it all. Now, for today, we have to get back on the request train. There's a couple that are over 2 weeks old and we have to get to them, so we're going to kind of combine for the next day. We're kind of going to combine requests and alongside those also some of the new episodes, of course, that keep releasing, that keep dropping. So I'm gonna try to combine them, do like an hour one, an hour the other, and then see how much I can get done. Pretty much that's kind of the idea. So yeah. However, we're gonna start off on the request range because I feel like it's only worth it. So the oldest request on the board, which got really unlucky to be honest, because I've like twice I was like, oh, this is like the next thing I would watch, but then I was done for the day, right? It is the series BFAGOM. I'm not sure what it stands for. However, it is created by friesomfire, called Beyblade CoolTube 971 as well. They are a YouTuber with about 578 subscribers, and their series, I believe, is done. As far as I'm aware, like I think the finale, it's what the latest episode 13. But yeah, I mean, it started over a year ago. Let's just watch this series in all of its glory, starting at episode 1, which is called Brawler. Let's go. Alright, that is episode 1. Alright, so it's one of these. So this is the type of object show that exists around the world. It's pretty much it's like, okay, it's done ironically by a lot of people, right? I think there's Shape World is like one of the famous ones that does this, right? However, basically it's like a PowerPoint object show, right? That's made with like slides, you know, like one like, you know, section by section. However, it's recorded in one take as like of screen recording a screen, right? And then we end up doing that whole shenanigan. It's obviously very goofy because how can we be in the big old 2024 and not know about screen recording software? I don't know. However, yeah, it's kind of interesting. This PowerPoint presentation is truly epic. We found like one transition effect, you know, one like effect that goes shwong and then shwong with the screens, and then we're just using that like 400 times. Great. It's easy to get distracted, but yes, our host, I don't know what they are. They're like the letter A, but then there are hearts sometimes as well. It depends what slide it is. We end up having, okay, what are our contestants? Let me see the screen here for a moment. So we have ourselves a lemon, a dime, a pink thing, a pill, a triangle, a crayon, like a strawberry, and I don't fucking know what that is. That's like some yellow blob. They're all competing for a glass of milk, so it's not one of the greatest prizes in object show history, I must admit. However, yeah, stuff's certainly happening right here. Again, the challenge is to not get hit by the ball. The ball ends up hitting people. I love the freaking deadpan bounce that gets said whenever the ball bounces. In fact, the expression is that we start off kind of excited, and then slowly as the video progresses, we're sounding more dead inside by the minute. But all right, you know what? I got used to it. I clocked what this is. I'm now used to it. I don't mind. BFAGOM2 Ringer. Alright, that is episode 2 of the show. Yeah, so this is a thing that I'm watching for sure. Dude, I love, like, no, this is just consistent. Like, every take, you know, it starts out fine, we're reading everything, we're doing all good, and then you can notice slowly throughout the take, it starts to deteriorate, you know, we start to skip a text, we start to fill in gaps, we start to just read stuff that isn't there, we read stuff at wrong times, we're just like, it slowly drops down a cliff, right, and it's like, it's so funny. I don't know if it's because we got bored or whatever. It's like, no, we don't need this slide that explains the challenge. No, don't need that. Like, it's like, But at the beginning, we're so good at reading. You know, every slide we're reading the in every slide. So just you know. Okay, and then we end up having a conversation with Pot. I don't probably somebody. So apparently Dime's dad died, so that's unfortunate. That's the information. And the other thing that they know is that what do they know? Pale is lesbian. Cool. What this is information. I guess if you want to find out random fun facts about people, you get to. Well, fun. If you want to find out random facts about people, you know who to ask. Ask the pot stalker, and you will know. You will know how. Lemony does not want to random fun facts about people though, so they end up leaving. So goodbye. Dude, I love it when it's like the show. Like, we're trying to fill in the gaps, you know, like, I want to go, and then we try to improv a way to say, okay, I want to go because I want to go, bye, and then the next slide just has bye there anyways, so it's like, you didn't even need to fill in the gap. It's amazing. Then we have our elimination with our heart fella that at this point doesn't look like a heart, at this point it's just like the Adobe logo. Then we end up having who's the eliminated contestant? I think Pill is the eliminated contestant, right? So, yeah, I mean, I guess so much for being a lesbian. Then we end up having them be gone, and then we have ourselves the challenge, which, remember how challenges tend to get explained? No, not this one. What explain the challenge? No, I would never do that. I mean, thankfully it's an extremely easy challenge to understand, because it is literally just ring toss, you know, the game, that the carnival game, like, you toss the thing and it lands in the cup, like in the glass, right? Like, you just gotta do that. A couple of fellas don't do it, like Lemony. A couple fellas like Dam do it. Strawberry does it, right? I think, and then the other fella does it. But you know what? One of the, you know, in a way, while I'm kind of dissing the show for not being the greatest show in mankind, I'm not gonna lie. One of the greatest pieces of storytelling is me going, okay, why are we speedrunning this? Well, we get to find out in this epic moment that right as we reach the voting screen, time limit has been reached on Flipperclip. I'm sorry. It's too funny, okay? I'm sorry. It's so funny, though, okay? Like, you gotta admit that it's funny to see that, and then you see, oh, that's why we were skipping like 5 slides, because we were trying to finish the episode before the time limit hit on the fucking app, on the parental control. You know, like, it's hilarious at the end of the day. I'm gonna be 100% honest. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. Lemony team is up for voting, including the pot fella, the soap, if it's what you are, and the crayon. I mean, I would vote the pot because, of course, they're a bad person, technically. So, I mean, I think that's the person where we made the most reasons for them to be bad. So, like, I think that's, you know, that would be the options that make the most sense. But I don't really know. But yeah, shout out to that one baby who has just been absolutely tearing it on the crying in the background. I mean, the entire take, they did not stop. They are sad. They need something, okay? Somebody needs to go take care of them, right? Like, we need to not record glass of milk. We need to go take care of them. Like, something's up. But yeah, episode 3 now is titled Brawlers. So let's go. Alright, that is episode 3. There's a lot of interesting decisions that go into making this video reach the YouTube platform. So, okay. Alright, so we have leveled up in terms of we've rendered the animation, right? Like, you know, the animation stuff, right? Like, we are just looking at the slideshow. Well, now we've actually rendered the animation as a Flipperclip animation, right? Well, how's the quality of the Flipperclip animation? It's honestly fine. Like, you know, you can see, like, it's not, I'm not gonna sit here and argue it's amazing. However, like, I roughly get it, right? What's going on usually, right? But then it's like, okay, however, we're still using the same, like, phone records tablet shenanigan, right? And that means that we're just playing it and we're having to VA it all in one go, YOLO style. But it's okay, first of all, if you're doing that, make the video play slower, right? Like, you can get like half a sentence in before the next action plays, and you to be fair to you, you try to make like 10 filler frames, but you just the animation plays too fast. Make it do less frames per second, you know, like just yeah. But yeah, there's a couple cool moments. What's the challenge? The challenge is to jump off the cliff, right? Yeah, the challenge is to jump off the cliff and make it past the water. Strawberry does it because they're the good at challenges. The person which I was calling Pot, by the way, who's actually a dumpling, ends up apparently having a mouth that can just do evil things like stab somebody with a spear. Things could just pop out their mouth, which is interesting. The eliminated contestant, who the fuck's the eliminated contestant? It's the soap? No. Yeah, the soap is eliminated. Okay, that's interesting. And then they end up chilling over there with Pill in the freaking void dimension. And then yeah, we have that challenge again. I'm pretty sure Strawberry won. And yeah, for some reason we're playing. Okay, so we've leveled up. We have a third device here right now. Okay, there's 3 total devices I play. There's a device playing music. There's a device recording, and there's a device with the animation itself. This is too just screen record. But like for some reason, the third device is playing that one song in BFDA. I don't know what it's called, but that one song that plays in BFDA very often. Okay, for some reason, it's playing a 0.5 speed because that sounds good. No, it doesn't. It's because as if that would ever sound decent. I don't know, but it's playing like super slow. And then it's like there's a lot of things. Like one of the big problems is that, like, for example, in the ending, when, you know, there's the black, you could just see the phone because it's a screen, it's reflective, you know. Like, I'm sure this guy looks great, right? He looks pretty cool, you know. He looks all neon glitch error thing, but I can't tell if I can just see the phone. He will come back maybe. I don't like, yeah, you know. It's all of the shenanigans, bro. But yeah, whatever. A lot of interesting things happen. Episode 4, bubble blowing. Okay, I feel like I'm going insane. I'm sorry. Why is the music at half speed? It sounds so bad. No, okay. Okay, so this is like a thing, right? But it's like, okay, so what people do, alright? So a lot of the time, people do slowed version, especially nowadays, right? They do like the slowed, ultra slowed. Okay, but here's the deal: you don't just slow the music. You're supposed to slow it and pitch it down, right? Like, that's how you make slowed version that doesn't sound terrible, right? If you just slow it, it'll just sound like, it'll just play the same high pitched note, but it will just stretch it out. So that way, it's like this grating noise. That's why it sucks. Right? Like, that's why it's bad. But for some reason, we're playing it as if it's okay. And it's actually just so loud. I don't know where this audio is coming from. Because, like, it's like, I don't see a third device. So, that means that it's playing for summer. I don't know if it was added to the flipper clip or whatever. But, like, it's something. But again, if it's added to the flipper clip, at that point, you just have the entire animation on the flipper clip. I don't know, bro. Why? Okay, hear me out. How did we make the thumbnails? Alright, how are the thumbnails, man? I need to know. Okay, you know these thumbnails? They all look pretty solid. They all look pretty decent. Alright, you know these thumbnails? Okay, great. So, why can't we just do those, but like in animation? You know, like, what's preventing that from happening? Because, like, I'm trying to clock it and I'm not figuring it out. It's kind of complicated. But yeah, I mean, they're not even really talking about it, because the thing about the challenge of the episode now is that it's impossible to follow. Realistically, it's impossible to follow. There's like bubbles, and then they get popped, and people die, the people get kicked over, then there's random ad break, and then people who own Samsungs are poor, me with my Samsung. And then we end up having we'll come back, and then there's some people, and then some people are mad, and now they're in the bubble. Like, there was just, like, and it's not the show's fault, there just literally isn't enough time for anything to get said, and then for anything to get understood, you know? Because the time isn't given, because it's going by too fucking fast, you know? It's too fast. We need to lower the frame rate. Oh my gosh, bro. Like, yeah, I don't know. If we're gonna keep going on this is gonna be a rough series. I'm gonna be fully honest out here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, bro. Face reveal at the end. Episode 5 is titled Breaking Bridge. Here goes. Alright, that is episode 5. Okay, so I think I understand what is happening. Okay, I have a feeling, alright? So, I think that what is going on, okay, is that, the music gets added onto FlipaClip normally, okay, to make the audio. Okay, however, I think what's going on is that FlipaClip, the video is too fast, right? So then we slow it down by a chunk, right? So that way it's reasonable enough to do the whatever one take or however many takes that the recording is. Okay? Yeah. All right. But then what ends up happening is that as we slow down the FlipaClip recording, what ends up happening is that all of the fucking music gets slowed down along with it. And then it just sounds abysmal. because this has to be what happens. Like it doesn't make nothing else makes more sense. And it's like it's the level of annoying because it's like, for example, you end up having the intro, right, and everything, and it's like, oh, we have the BFDI theme but slowed down. It's like, oh, maybe it didn't fit. No, it cuts off. Like it literally did fit, and then it just like it's crazy. But I don't. It's yeah. Who was even eliminated? Crayon was eliminated, right? I had 2 votes. Challenge is to cross the bridge, which is pretty solid. Yet again, it's somehow too fast. I don't know. Like it's slow. I think the pace in general will slow down a little bit, but it kind of goes by too fast because like it's just that simple detail, of 2 frames don't need to be on the screen for the same period of time. You know, it's like that. It's just that situation. You know, like one time a text on screen should be there for 2 seconds. Well, meanwhile, a walking frame should be there for half a second. You know, like it's just that simple understanding that I feel like is lacked here. And is what makes everything feel, even though time-wise, like, it's still, like, 5-minute episode, right? Like, even though time-wise, it's still a 5-minute episode, is that one piece of understanding that's lacking, that's, like, not every frame has to be the exact same length, right? For good animation to occur, right? So that's kind of that's like the thing that is suffering. The challenge is to cross the bridge. The fellas end up crossing the bridge. Stuff happens again. It's hard to understand. I'm gonna be 100% on it. This is kind of hard to understand. Like there's soup down there, and then the bridge is broken, and then somebody makes it up, and then there's like a meteor that falls down from the sky somehow. However that works. Then they end up going through a multi-dimensional portal that brings them back, and then they get to bounce on a trampoline that just so happens to look like a button, and then they end up fighting with Lemony like 1,000,000 times and bouncing on this one fucking trampoline 1,000,000 times, and they never end up reaching the bridge. The freaking dumpling manages to reach the bridge by just like barfing over it. Dime in the meantime just chills and makes it. But then actually content doesn't matter. Who needs that? Who needs the thing we just animated anyways? Who needs that? Nobody needs it. Who cares? Who gives a shit about the contest that we spent like a month making? Nope. Don't care about that. We are doing a debut. So, who are the characters that are up for debut? We've got Pyramid, who looks like a basketball in triangle shape. We got Blueberry, who's like in every show. A Bucket, who's the nonchalant one. Seashell, who's a seashell. Broom, who looks very goofy. Ice Cream, who's like dripping already. We're gonna melt by tomorrow. Glow Stick, Candy Corn, a Softball, who's green. A softball is not green. Wait, a softball. Hold on, give me a moment. Softball. Oh, it is green. Wait, what? Oh, I did not even know that. Oh shit. Wait, is it? It's like a yellow-green. Whatever. Like, okay, it's not that green, but it's like, okay, I get it. And then there's Amethyst. So, yeah, next episode, December 1st. Let's see. Was the next episode actually on December 1st? It was on December 1st. Ayo, we hitting deadlines, though. Low-key. Low-key deadlines getting hit, though. All right. I see you. Alright, let's watch that episode then, heading into episode 6, which is titled Lava Madness. I would like to make a groundbreaking announcement. We have discovered screen recording. So let's fucking go, boys. We've got a thing we can watch now with lines that are voice acted, not all in one take. This is a legendary moment. Call this a national holiday, December 1st, 2024. I'm telling you. Yes. And the music is not slowed down anymore. We sorted that out as well. Let's go. That's to loop a few times, but that's okay. That's much better. Like, we're not like fully on it. Let's go. This is what we need. Alright, well, we can actually understand roughly where things happen. The issue that I said about frames not needing to all last the same length, is still a thing that exists. You know, like certain things go by way too fast, right? Like the TV's text, like you pretty much have like 0.1 seconds to read whatever it is if you're actually if you're not pausing, right? Rather than other stuff. So like that problem's still there. Lip sync is not amazing, right? There's still a shit ton of improvements. However, the major beats have been fixed, so I can actually watch a show here, you know. The two people that end up joining are Amethyst and Softball. I don't know. There's also an egg here. I don't know what they do, but the two end up being the debutantes. And then we have the challenge, which is a lava raft. The first whole team to die, and they're getting off. It's pretty much a balance beam, but complicated. But yeah, balance beam, but lava. Alright. The other fellas end up doing that. Apparently, Amethyst has super bouncy shoes, okay? And the super bouncy shoes allow them to physically crush the competition, which seems to be maybe functioning. Soup Dumpling ends up just kind of glitching themselves into the lava. Then Lemony ends up going into the lava. And then the Softball and Dime died. And then Strawberry said, oh, well, they died? I guess I gotta die too. So then they also die. And that means that team, Strawberry, Dime, and Softball, those are the three up for elimination. So at least Soup Dumpling's team still survived it, despite the Soup Dumpling literally throwing, which is something for sure. Okay, very interesting thing that I still don't understand. QR code to vote. QR code to vote. I mean, like, I guess you could do that. I haven't ever seen a show do that. I'm just gonna be absolutely for real, because I usually just go, yo, link in the description, guys, because like it's kind of easy, you know, because like QR code, like I can't scan, like, okay, I think the link, hold on, let me check. Also use Strawball device. Okay, so it is also in the description, right? Okay, because I was wondering, because it was a little bit complicated, because I was like, well, I'm on computer, I can't actually scan this QR code, you know, so, but like, if there's both, then okay, sure. Right, like it's kind of whatever, you know. Fair enough. And then we have ourselves the spaghetti theme, just to, you know, close out. How did they go? Hold on. Look, sometimes I look at squiggles and wonder, have they managed to get so weird and look like thunder? Maybe if I use my thinking skills to find out. I know about the food. Here we go now. It's that spaghetti, yo. Come on now. Here we go. We take it like a noodle and to and fro. I don't remember the lyrics. I sung it for the freaking 28 thing. However, I have the lyrics on for that. Like I don't really know it from memory. Anyways, okay. I think we've talked what we need to talk. The episodes are gonna get longer from here on out. Yes, this is the shortest episode, so the episode's average length ends up increasing from here on out. It's time for episode 7. Would you want to build a snowman? I don't know, but we're gonna find out. So let's watch it. Alright, that is episode 7, and yeah, I mean, the episodes are getting much more watchable. I'm gonna be absolutely for real. Like, this was the first episode where I could confidently tell you I know what happened. You know, like in the app, like the first one I could properly, fully, 100% be like, yes, I know what was going on. Because in the other ones, like, I could, like, figure it out, but while I was watching, I didn't really know, right? First of all, okay, one thing I want to say at the ending. I'm sorry. We credited the backgrounds to BFDI and Google. We're crediting Google. I'm sorry. You know, if you search something on Google Images, it's not by Google. Like if I search like BFDI on Google and I go to Google Images, like the draw, like that's still by that's by Jackie Jeff. That's not by Google. Like you can't just do that. But okay, whatever. Um, So we have ourselves here an episode. We have our first game show. Why is Strawberry still a brat? The answer is apparently yes. Strawberry, as far as I've clocked, Strawberry is like that challenge goat who's like really good at challenges. However, kind of self-owns to it. However, there's Dime who's literally just worse at challenges. However, still ego. There's just a lot of ego going on there. Then we end up having ourselves. So fella, there's about other people animating, but now, as far as I'm aware, which does cause for some different style changes, and I think overall, like the job that's being done is all right. You know, it's understandable. Then we end up having ourselves the intro. Oh yeah, the intro is mildly changed because it's now II. Like now we're taking the IIs. I think. Wait, season 1 or season 2? I don't remember. I think it's season 2. Like intro song and playing alongside that. So like, okay, interesting. We're just cycling the objects. So it's supposed that BFB. The BFB intro is next. I'm telling you. But yeah, we're kind of hanging out. And apparently the ratings aren't very good, so Vem and Phantom will be hosting. Who are these two? I don't fucking know. However, yeah, we got 80. Oh yeah, okay. Interesting thing by the way that I haven't been pointing out. The vote counts are very high. The view count for the show is like, it's okay, you know, like what, 300 views, the other ones get 400. Usually, however, the ratio of votes to that isn't too high, so I'm curious if the straw poll, if like the vote allows you to vote multiple times, because that might be a thing, especially because they're like, what, this elimination was 50-12, which is very exaggerated, so maybe people are capable of voting multiple times. I'm not 100% sure, but, yeah. Then, anyways, we have ourselves the challenge. So the challenge is quite simple. Build a winter-related thing, and go. They go over into a snowy land, and of course they get to build winter-related things. I would have found it interesting if they actually weren't teleported to a winter thing, right? Because kind of an interesting thing, you know, make a summer thing in winter or make a winter thing in summer, right? That means that, like, your resources for what can be considered wintery is way more reduced, right? Because you're in the wrong environment. But here, I mean, if you're just in a fucking mountain full of snow, then, like, okay, yeah, then you could build a snowman, right? And in fact, they do build a snowman. It's a pretty standard snowman. Not too much to it, but it's pretty solid. I like how each animator, you can tell when the animator swaps because the snowman is just completely different every time. There's no continuity with the snowman at all. Yeah. Now, the other team tries to do something, however, they get mostly distracted by the fact that Soup Dumpling froze in the middle of the challenge, which unfortunately does happen. You have to check her vitals. I'm sorry, you can see there's a block of ice that you think but yeah, they get distracted, so they don't realize until the last moment that they didn't actually build anything. So they try to decorate a stick and see if it works, but it is, unfortunately, a decorated stick does still happen to be worse than a snowman. So the other fellas are for eliminated Lemony, Soup Dumpling, and Amethyst. I like whoever drew this Amethyst. I mean, I feel like is it time to go for Lemony? I feel like it's probably time to go for Lemony. Lemony gets so much screen time that it's like kind of crazy. You know, Lemoney's gotten a hilarious amount of screen, like nearly more than every other character, but like quite a bit. So I would probably vote them to leave. There's also a prize. There's also a likes voting, which is based on YouTube videos, which is interesting because like why do we need a Google form for the dislikes if we have videos for the likes? When like, you know, you could just do both. You can dislike YouTube videos. Did you know? But okay, whatever, sure. But yeah, overall, it's getting the show. I'm gonna be absolutely for real now. The show's getting watchable. I like those first matchups. I'm sorry, but it's impossible to recommend, right? It's impossible to go like, yeah, you should watch this. Like, you just can't. You just can't do it. But these episodes, you know, it's like I understood this episode properly. which is fire. So as we're heading into the next episodes, I'm so ready to understand what I'm seeing on the screen. I'm hyped. Episode 8, what is it called? It's called 5-Star Chefs. It's the longest episode outside of 13, which is the latest one. So episode 8 is titled 5-Star Chefs. Okay. Alright, quite a while ago now, I watched episode 8 BFA, or Battle for a Glass of Milk, 5-Star Chefs. So, I mean, stuff has definitely changed around these parts for sure. Because, like, we have had quite a different, like, the animations are quite different. It's not like all flip a clip, it's all different styles. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, it's a gigantic mismatch of different styles that don't look similar even remotely, like not even a little bit. However, some of them really impress. I mean, like, dude, I'm not gonna lie, there was like an audible gasp when I saw the scene post intro. Like, oh my god, bro, look at these cats, they're like moving. They're like moving. It's like well animated and shit, you know. It's like lip synced and everything. It's like good. I know. No, right? Crazy. Okay, well, I mean, hold on. Alright, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. This is obviously, like, I don't know how exactly this animation got to the way that it is. However, it's obviously not 100% original, right? You can tell it's very locked down at its core. It's very object locked down. You can see by kind of the way that the movements tend to be with like the jumps and stuff, and the like eyelash that's sideways, right? And all that stuff. However, even then, like that scene, which I think showed, like, a couple of people show up, like it is something, you know. Like, we don't need other people. Hire them, okay? Pay them, give them 5 Robux. I don't know whatever it takes. I'll hire them. Nah. But yeah, it's an interesting mishmash of styles. However, I will say that despite of course the mishmash of styles, I do think that the average quality of each has definitely improved. You know, which is it's quite nice. The episode was apparently, according to the intro, said that it's unfinished because it was supposed to last 12 minutes rather than 6, which is where it currently does. I mean, the video is 8 minutes, but the last 2 minutes are an outro. So like, I think that it's interesting because, like, I didn't actually feel it. Like, if it didn't say that, I wouldn't actually have thought anything was off. It did everything pretty solid. I mean, it had a couple of screen transitions that I thought were a little awkward for sure. However, like, no, like, it had a couple, like, this video, for some reason, there's a lot of fade out. You know, it like fades out in the next scene. It's like, I mean, you don't need to do that. Then it's kind of weird if you're fading out in the middle of a conversation, right? But like, okay. Yeah, we have more proper backgrounds. Yeah, stuff happens, you know. Like, in general, the improvement has been there. Oh yeah, this scene as well. Like, it is stuff definitely getting improved around here. Which is nice. It's just it's one of those things where it's, as usual, it's like, look, I mean, of course, I would do a part of the recommendation of just going like, yo, you should probably try to get a more generalized quality, you know, for a better experience. It's also one of those things where it's like, I know that this show is not working with a lot of resources at hand, right? There's probably not a lot of people to pick from. There's probably not a lot of people who are going to do it. So I think that, yeah, just kind of do whatever we can out here. Believe in the best. Yeah, but like, in general, I got it. The challenge was to cook. I believe. Yeah, like, you see, like, oh yeah, this, okay, so, like, you see that scene at 2 minutes, right, where the crayon, like, talks and then turns around, like, that is so locked down. You see that hand with, like, the mildly spiky, like, yes, you know, like, that's just, that is definitely kind of taken. However, like, look, it's fine, as long as we get it, right, like, it's not stolen, but, like, you can tell that it's very clearly replicating at the very minimum, right? Okay, actually, yeah, first there's a rejoin challenge. I forgot about this. It's to stack the highest. It's kind of, we don't get to see that much. The person who stacks the most just ends up being Pill. Good job, Pill. You did it. And they joined the team, and we end up having the challenge is just make something for me and Potion. Everybody, I guess, clocks this as just being make a piece of food. So they end up making food. with various degrees. They can actually go to different places now because they have backgrounds, right? So Puffball, for some have, for why, I don't know why Puffball's here. Puffball drops in and goes away and brings them back and does everything. Like, yo, do you want to go to this patch of grass rather than the other patch of grass? And it's like, yeah, I will do that. I mean, no, Amethyst was busy, cooking pizza, so that's nice. They cooked the pizza. I think it ends up being a pretty good pizza. However, they're waiting for the other team to drop by, which they eventually drop by. We have a rap battle, we have a gag there, right? And then what happens? Wait, softball. Wait, did that team lose? I think they did lose. Wait, hold on. I have no idea. Yeah, the one thing that I didn't understand. Okay, to be fair, that part did feel like it was kind of cut off because I don't know why the team lost the challenge. Hold on, let me try to watch this. So, Amethyst makes the pizza. Lemony and Amethyst have a pizza, and then their team wins, which means the other team is up for elimination. However, like, it's unfair that Pill joined. So they wait. What? I'm lost. Lemony's team wins and yet they're up for Elam, and then Pill's somehow already up for Elam. There's no safety placed on Pill to like try to be safe despite the fact, because usually it's kind of an unspoken rule that the person who rejoins or debuts should probably be safe immediately, right? Just to at least keep them in the show. And this show, who needs principles? We break in the principles right here. We are innovating. We're innovating. No, I'm really trying to understand. Hold on. This challenge is a wrap. No. I mean, the challenge was wrapped up. Okay, yes, it's wrapped up. Then they die. They got sliced in half. Anyways, you guys just choose who you want up for elimination. What? They just choose? Oh. Wait, what? Oh, it's like an individual challenge? No, it's not an individual. There's teams. What? So they chose Lemony, Pill, and Softball. Is that what happened? Okay, I think that might be what happened. I'm sorry, I'm not clocking this. The credits are cooking by the book. I don't know who edited it, but I guess they're doing a good job. You gotta do the cooking by the book. Yeah, you can't get lazy or whatever it is. And yeah, later we have a message there at the end that they're trying to do everything. It's the Super Bowl apparently. Well, look, that episode was pretty solid. That episode really felt. I mean, I don't know, because this show has been on a gradual roller coaster up, right? Like, I'm not gonna lie. It starts off low, it goes down, but then it's starting to pick up momentum, right? It's starting to pick itself up, right? Like, I'm glad it's sticking through, because I'm seeing animations, and I'm actually seeing scenes that are well animated. I'm like, oh my god, is it happening? But, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here, because here, it's climbing. However, there's still a couple of details that remain, like, that can definitely get improved. Assets definitely still need some work. Especially, they look kind of off, especially in those higher quality animations. Because they look off now, so assets start looking off. The voice acting still maybe isn't the greatest. I'm gonna be 100% honest, right? Like, it's one of those things where it's like there's still improvements that can definitely be made. I'm just curious, will they be made? Because we're making improvements in certain aspects, so now I'm starting to expect it. Like, now I'm starting to see, okay, this show knows what it's doing. Maybe with improving stuff. Let's see if it can improve stuff even further, right? Like, that's the question, right? Like, we actually have voting screens now. I don't remember when we didn't have those. Like, it's like we're growing into it, right? We're getting more into the thing, right? So we got to be fair, we don't even have that many episodes left to go. What is it? 9, 10, 11, 12, what, 5? So like it's really it's not that much. So I'm curious because the next episodes they do go down in length significantly. So it's gonna be interesting to see if the animation is also high quality. If we go back down, I don't know. I'm really praying out here. I'm praying for the best. BFAGOM 9 is titled A Questionable Conflict. It is 4:27 in length. Let's go. Okay, hold on, wait, hold on. Did that outro just tell me 40,000 views? Where? Where are these 40,000 views on Vimeo? No, okay, no, now that's the new mystery. Hold on a minute, 40,000 views, are we sure? BFAGOM has had, wow, 400. That's no. Hold on. We can't just be lying. Wait a minute. Is that like total views? Like the channel? The channel has 88,000 views total. Okay, so I guess that means total views. Right, just the total channel views gotta be. There's no way that, like, I'm sorry, it's just none of these videos have got 40,000 views. So that's just an objective statement. Okay. Anyways, so we actually have improved in terms of animation. I said that one of the things that the animation has to do is become more consistent throughout, and you know what, it is. It's more consistent throughout, actually, somehow, unbelievably. I'm actually quite surprised by this. Okay, it's not fully consistent, especially the frame rates, especially with mouth movement. Mouth movements vary so much from character to character, from scene to scene, but in general, it is to the point where it says okay, right? Like, it is the animation is fine. It has little enough variation for it to be that confusing. So that's nice now. But yeah, so then the situation becomes, okay, the animation has managed to standardize. It doesn't have the higher highs, okay? Like, the best scenes from BFAGOM 8 definitely look better. However, the worst scenes from 8 definitely look worse, right? So we've standardized, basically. Which means that, yeah, I think the main problem, unfortunately, now, because, like, as the animation starts picking itself up, it's starting to become noticeable. It's starting to become more and more noticeable how much the audio hasn't picked itself up. It's still, the voice acting is still super kind of awkward, you know, not taking, basically, it's that difference between not taking the time to do a take without an right? Like, it's that time where it's like, you need to take that time to just do the take, do it properly, right? Do it decisively, not have background noise, right? Sort out the music in the background without having a loop, because not necessarily loop, no, without having it repeat, because we saw this quite a bit the other time, where, like, the music repeated quite a bit within itself. Like, it was like the song playing 3 times at once in this, and then the vocals were playing twice at once, right? And it was like, it was kind of a mess. But yeah, that the audio department is definitely the one that now feels lacking as the animation steps itself up, right? And the writing has stepped itself kind of up, but I feel like it had in the last 2 episodes. This episode is kind of gone way more random. I'm not gonna lie. So, like, okay, like, I have a general idea of what the hell happened. Like, I have the general draft, okay? It was like, okay, we're doing a quiz challenge where you answer questions. The host dips because Potion is found dead, and they need to find what happened to the potion from Potion. In the meantime, TV host gets sad and then reads out some questions. The questions get answered, and the dumber team, quote-unquote, loses. However, there's just a lack of UI, you know? There's just a lack of, like, there's a lack of a system for the challenge, right? In the sense of, like, okay, this team gets eventually declared smarter. I don't know. I didn't keep track of the scores of the team. Did you? I did it. Like, I'm not doing that. So, the team that gets called dumber is just like, okay, sure. Like, you know, like, I don't know. There's no objective data, for me to know, whether that's true or not. And while they're doing that, the eliminated contestants are hiding in a bush, as they're having a plan to murder everybody because, they didn't get into the show. So yeah, stuff's happening. We also have a backstory that, apparently Lemony was enamored by, had a crush on Amethyst and was hey, let's talk later, which, as everybody knows, is 100% effective. Flirting works every time. Yeah, it's this show is definitely a little goofy, but yeah, we have our second case of the viewer mail meme, which it's fun. I kind of enjoy it. And yeah, we have the scene again where Dime just gets absolutely roasted. You have no friends and everything. But yeah, overall, we have more standardized animation. Audio, you can really start to feel it now. And the plot, I'm understanding the base of it, but the actual details, they're still a little random. Alright, episode 10, double digits, is titled No Time for That. This is probably my favorite thumbnail for any of these episodes. The episode 10 thumbnail is great. Alright, let's go. Alright, that is BFAGOM 10. There's no time for that. So that is interesting, for sure. We have another little bit of the animation has been changed a little bit. First of all, let's mention something which I didn't mention the other time. There's a new intro. I know, right? The intro. I mean, there has been a new intro relatively consistently, but we have our first intro that doesn't use a song from another object show intro. Instead, it uses some remix rap god instrumental thing, and it has a lot of scenes with people that don't actually happen in the show. However, it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's kind of I like that intro. I think it's a solid intro. We get to see a lot of characters, a lot of which don't even fucking appear. But yes, indeed it does. In the meantime, we are supposed to find Potiony, because remember Potiony, that co-host fella that's dead. I don't know, just was dead there. Apparently was confiscated by another guy. Okay, well let me check. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, this show is just mildly confusing in general. It's I feel like the info to follow it is all there. It's just kind of complicated. I just have to piece it together. So there's this guy called Ian, who's like an asterisk, who's here and really wants to murder Potiony. Okay, sure. In the meantime, we have some the challenge, because the challenge is that you have to save the time. Whatever that means. When you have to save the time, there has been changes to the past. You have to go fix the past in episodes 1 through 5. This show is channeling in its inner Teapot 15. Because of course you are. And then you end up doing it. They end up teleporting. I think in the same way that they actually did in Teapot. But yeah, it's kind of cool, to be honest. To be fair to Teapot, right? The challenge of Teapot 15 is very, very good. As far as the challenge is concerned, when you want to do, it's super nostalgic, super interesting. You get to try out a lot of different stuff. It's a fun challenge, right? So I understand why other shows want to do it. It's a little complicated, of course, because it's not too dissimilar, right? You end up having a couple of things be like, oh, remember when we looked bad? I'm sorry, you look good right now, but half of your assets didn't change. But the thing about it is that half the assets change, but the problem is that the assets aren't standardized. You'll notice Amethyst is the most obvious one of the lot. It really just, you can see that Amethyst looks different depending on who's making the scene, right? There's not a standard, there's not asset style necessarily, which means that sometimes it'll have an asset, sometimes it won't, and the asset will change and everything, right? But yeah, eventually Bucket, Trolls, Dime, they end up being all beat up. They're looking like nickel on the daily. And we end up having another interruption by our Pig from that one series. So thank you, Pig, for being very useful. And then we end up having ourselves grassy joints and alright, new character. Yeah, let's go. They end up joining the show because they were just like, However, they get briefed out that, you should not do the challenge. So they're like, okay, I guess we won't do the challenge. This episode has a couple of scenes that are feeling more like those top tier scenes from BFAGOM 8. The lows are definitely picked themselves up. The highs, I think, are also starting to increase a bit more. Again, animation is all solid. Audio is better than it was in the last episode. It doesn't have, there's not a direct audio glitch, right? There's not an audio bug like there was in the last episode. However, there's just still the general things of a lot of the time, not gonna lie, there's a bit of a lack of enthusiasm in these lines being read. And a lot of the time the music is louder than the voice. Alright, so those are still the issues that I'm not predicting they're ever gonna stop. So I'm just gonna say it. But we have recommended character. We do have recommended character. That's kind of cool though. I was not expecting the show to have recommended characters, but look at them. Look at all those. And how some people fix the past. The ice cream pill ends up getting absolutely beat up 5 times over. Some other fellas, they come back. Eventually, Potiony ends up falling off from the sky, landing on Earth. Then we have Stronger Than You. Why do we have Stronger Than You? Oh yeah, because Pill was fighting the fucking thing. Was fighting the the ice cream, and they end up being friends. Okay, all right, that's fun. Potion comes back, and then we end up doing the elimination last second there at the end of the episode, where the eliminated contestant ends up being Dime. Goodbye. They got 36 votes. Still a lot. We'll be honest. And then we end up having Grassy and Amethyst for elimination. Again, still bullshit. Like, I mean, okay. Look, I don't think it's bullshit that Grassy's up for Elim, because Grassy shouldn't be here at all. Right? Like, why are we adding random character into the show? There's no, like, reason for that to be the case. Right? However, I mean, if you're gonna add a debutante into the show at random with no proper reason, then, like, I mean, it's just kind of like, bro, don't put them up for Elim in the episode they join. I mean, like, Grassy should just get out, you know, because it's like they didn't do anything. Like, it's not their fault, but they should get out over somebody who tried, right? Like, it's just kind of makes more sense. But yeah, overall, episode solid. I definitely think that, yeah, the writing, the writing for these episodes has been, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little unfortunate, because it always feels like it's there, you know, it's always like, oh, okay, like, it's like, there's a plot line, but then it always feels like it barely just doesn't make sense, you know, like, it's kind of, it barely feels like there's, like, a missing detail, a missing scene, a missing something, right, that connects the dots, right, it just kind of feels like a thing happens, kind of, almost, it happens. Yeah, like, you know, like, it's kind of this unclear. It's hard for me to describe it, because, like, it's kind of just a unclear. It's like a fog, right? But yeah. All right, we can head into episode 11 now. Episode 11 is titled, what the hell is the title? A journey, what the hell? A journey through memory pain. Memory pain? Okay, bro. Okay, I'm 14 and this is deep. Nah, I'm joking. Let's watch it. Alright, that is episode number 11 of BFAGOM. So, we have ourselves first the elimination, of course, as we have Lemony complain that Pill doesn't want to play catch, but doesn't want to play catch with Grassy either, and then it's too late to play catch, it's the elimination time, Rap God, everything, and Grassy got out with 47 votes to 5, you see what I mean? Like, that is, like, I mean, I know I said that I think that Grassy should be eliminated, but that disparity is a big disparity, you know? Like, I don't know if it's that much, right? So, like, these votes, they are certainly a bit suspicious, because it is a lot of votes, but, like, is it multiple times? Maybe there's a non-zero chance you can vote multiple times, but I'm still not 100% sure. Either way, we end up having ourselves the final three, which is Pill, Amethyst, and Lemony. Or Lemonade, as they're called in this episode for some reason. So we have Debut, we have Rejoin, and we have Lemon. Right, so it's that trident. Now the challenge. What is the final challenge? Of course, you know what the final challenge is. The final challenge is, say it with me, folks, all of the previous challenges combined into one. I know. It's great. Yeah, even for this show, it's quite goofy, but it does do a decent job of doing that. You know, first challenge, dodge the ball. Second challenge, throw a ring. Third challenge, I'm glad that even the hosts of the fucking show have no idea what happened in episode 3. Okay, that's not just me. Okay, alright, let's go. Let's go. It's not just me, boys. Even Potion, he has no idea what happened. So just jump off the cliff. Yeah, they do that. Somehow don't die. Cross the bridge. Amethyst somehow fails to cross the bridge. Incredible. Like, you know, just so much skill in this final 3. Pill ends up getting soloed by like half the challenges, but they keep catching up. But yeah, some gags are fun. I really like the gag of my favorite joke is definitely the one over in the lava where they're like, try to survive the lava, don't get burned by lava, and then nothing happens for like 10 seconds, and they're like, you did it, you didn't get burned by lava. Like, yes, yes, that's great. build a snowman. We don't get to see the snowman, unfortunately. But it goes as it goes as it goes. And then we end up having ourselves the final challenge. So the final challenge ends up just being a sprint to the finish. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you actually think about it, if everybody was gonna get stopped by at the last portion just so that they can make a sprint to the finish, then that means that every other challenge doesn't matter, right? Like that means that, like, as you know, it doesn't matter. But anyway, the last challenge is an epic race. Amethyst knocks on a rock, gets fucking split in half. Pill goes like, I need to save you, so they proceed to run over with Amethyst. And then at the last second, freaking Lemony gets fucking punched over, starts bleeding, and then at the last second, Pill manages to make it. I'm sorry, hold on. Like, I thought, what is, okay, in the nicest way possible, what is the point of Pill coming in, alright? And then, like, starts coming in, goes like, Amethyst, I'm gonna save you, only to, like, still just win themselves. Like, what was the point? What was the point? You know? Like, you weren't trying to make Amethyst win, because you just won yourself. So what was the grand idea there? You know, I feel like I feel like there was like a grander idea that I missed, you know? But yeah, Pill makes it into the final two. There's no voting card in this episode. That's really unfortunate. But apparently Amethyst or Lemonade or Lemony or whatever will be voted up for elimination. Who should get out? Boo. Interesting question. I mean, in this episode, probably Lemony. Realistically speaking, it should probably be Lemony, because they kind of, you know, they were mean at the start and everything. So realistically, should probably just be them. However, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it will be. Maybe it wouldn't be. I don't really know. Audio is improving slowly, very slowly. Like, the show is really slowly improving. The assets, I think, have in general gone a little bit better. A pet peeve that I always have is that Pill's asset has these fucking, it's not filled in fully, so you can just see through, like, single pixels of it. It's like, oh my god, this takes 32 seconds to fix max. But it's like, whatever. But yeah, overall, episode was pretty solid. It was one of the few episodes where I kind of understood what's going on. I mean, I don't know where, like, Pill was always behind, but always not behind at the same time. Like, that was a little weird. But yeah, other than that, the episode was pretty solid. Journey to Memory Pain. That title is way too edgy. Alright, episode 12 now. We're getting there slowly but surely. Episode 12, the filler one usually. The beginning of the end. Alright, episode 12, the beginning of the end. So, surprising enough, not a filler episode. Why would I say that this would have been a filler episode? Because that's how these always are, right? You end up having the final challenge, then afterwards you have a non-competition forced episode because you need to do the elimination and then the vote to win. And then the finale is just the finale, right? However, this is not doing a vote to win, it seems. It is doing a challenge. So that changes everything, of course. So, yeah, we have Pill be, you know, a little bit upset. We end up having ourselves the vote for, first of all, our fellow guy, algebraian thing called Ian, ends up coming in and making a Roblox avatar man who's really not, it has any distinctive traits about them, but apparently they're supposed to destroy everybody, to execute potion specifically, because I don't know, they have a thing with potion, okay, and for that they need to get rid of all the hosts. But yeah, so basically, first of all, we're having the elimination. Lemony ends up getting eliminated with like 12 votes. Hold on, we got 14 votes per person out of Lemony with 12. Yeah, I mean, it's yet again, it's a little bit, it feels exaggerated, even though there's significantly less votes. It's still like, what? 85, what, I don't know, 90% ratio of total votes for Lemony? I mean, it's a bit much, right? However, yeah, Lemony eventually ends up getting eliminated, and that means that the final two is Amethyst and, it's, Amethyst and Pill, yes. Okay. So their challenge is to make it to the Object Show Center. And then they have to get to the top of the Object Show Center, where there will be a glass of milk. They could probably go to the store faster. But yeah, the TV ended up coming in, getting absolutely destroyed. The fire fella or whatever, they had a name. I'm sorry. You're called no you. What were you called? I don't remember. Sorry. But yeah, apparently that person was Lemony. So yeah, the show, starting to fall apart. The hosts are starting to get knocked down one by one. The fellas are competing in a challenge that just happens to take a really long time because we don't know where the object show center is. We have an extended variant of the intro. With a different section of Rap God, and yeah, stuff starts going. People start running. There's a red ketchup bottle is also evil. Apparently, we get Blueface back. That person from the ads. They get sad. That was a fun gag. I like that because it starts to show that, like, remember how my initial criticism was like, yo, this show has no perspective of time or how you can use time to animate gags and everything. Well, now it does, like that gag is entirely one that's funny because of the timing of the fact that you're looking at nothing and then it suddenly does a thing, right? And it couldn't do that before, but now it does that, right? A couple of people drown, then Dime, okay, I like how there's a disagreement whether Dime should just look like Nickel or not. Depending on the person, we either try to make them original or we just take Nickel's asset and just run with it. But yeah, Grassy eventually is there with a green potion bot. How many potions are at potion? You have a lot of twins. You have a lot of cousins. But yeah, the Grassy fella apparently is over there in the void, and they end up wanting to ram into corners to try to break out of the void. I mean, maybe, I don't know. That could work, maybe. And then we end up having Potion. He gets teleported into the death row yet again. The other fellas, they got teleported in, died very quickly. There was like no time for them to even do much about it. But in this case, we have a Potion who's is the one that was being kept alive. But I don't think these fellas, these evil guys, want these people to stay alive. I think they want to just murder. So yeah, but they're not murdering for any type of reason. I think they're not murdering to try to get more powerful or anything. I think they just don't want the show. They want the glass of milk or something. It's whatever they want. They don't want the show to go on. Which ends up being problems. But the first time we actually have one of these crew graphs, which is probably should have been here for way longer than it has been. But yeah, it's there. And yeah, all right then. There is one more episode. It is BFAGOM 13, which should be the finale. It has a good thumbnail. It is titled "It's Been So Long." All right then. It's been so long. Let's watch it. Let's talk about the big world BFAGOM finale right here, right now. Alright, so that is the big finale of Battle for a Glass of Milk, episode 13 of the series after quite a bit. So there's one thing that I hadn't realized in the last episode was going on in this one. So how we did, a big competition, 11 episodes, eliminations, and everything. Get the characters out just so that we can have a final 2. They're going to compete in a final challenge to be the winner. Yeah. How about we scrap all of that and just have everybody compete in the final challenge? And I was I realized this a minute in because I didn't realize it because it felt so unbelievably goofy. But it's wait, why was, because then I wanted to go, wait, hold on, why was Lemony trying to win? He can't win, he's out. But I said, no, wait, he's not, because everybody's apparently competing. What do you mean? Everybody's competing. What was the point of doing the show? What is the point of an elimination if you can compete in the final challenge? Tell me that. Riddle me this. Riddle me that. What? No, that is that is crazy. But yeah, we end up having but mostly the characters end up adventuring, and it's okay. Here's the deal: it's not that bad. Why is it not that bad? It's not that bad because it's like I roughly like where the writing goes here. There's a lot of characters here that, you know, they're like taking different routes to the trade center, right? Which means that we get to see a lot of different environments, you get to see a lot of different tactics, strategies, and everything. So it's actually not that bad of an episode that's written. I'm just disappointed that this concept is, why, you know, like, really, give me a reason why Crayon, who got eliminated like 6 episodes ago, should be capable of winning the series. Tell me that. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, and you might be wondering, oh, why are you mad? One of the final 2 won. Okay, yeah, one of the final 2 won, but it wasn't even a competition with the other character. Amethyst wasn't even there. Amethyst shows up like 1 time in the episode. Like, I was like, randomly, halfway, I was like, oh yeah, Amethyst is the other finalist, because Amethyst literally doesn't get screen time for more than like 12 seconds, I think. Like, it's really nothing, right? Like, Pearl at least gets a lot of screen time. Amethyst gets nothing, and it's like, wait, it's great final 2 here. We're showing more Lemony. Bro, I know the Lemony bias is real, because it's like, I mean, Lemony already got the most screen time usually, and now Lemony gets the most screen time even though they get eliminated because we made the challenge to put the eliminated contestant back in competition to win the series. Huh. Like, bruh, momento. Like, what are we doing? But yeah, we end up having the situation. So, in the meantime, the other fellas are moving. We end up having our intro. Be back because, yeah, the intro is cool. The extended variant of the intro. Some fellas end up going different places. They end up sleeping. They end up having some fellas in the forest and everything. And like, it's a mess. We end up having recovery centers, then like we end up having a recovery center get brought in, then it's destroyed, then they're floating into water, then they're on a boat. Like, there's a lot of like individual things. Then you're underwater, but you can breathe underwater, you can't breathe underwater, right? And it's like this, it's uneven. It's just, there's a lot that goes on in this episode. But as with a lot of the other episodes of the series, it's kind of a fog to where it's not 100% clear how something's happening. We just clear that it is, right? Yeah, Lemony ends up separating from the girls, or something, because they couldn't find a trade center. By the way, what do you mean you can't find a trade center? It's a gigantic building with the word trade on it. What do you think? But okay. We end up having that situation. Some people die. Dime's happy. Pill loses their coloring because they were underwater. We end up having the Object Show Awards, which are there. And while the Object Show Awards are there, there's some guy that comes in and murders people. What is this plot? I don't know why this plot's here. But, yeah, so that's what's happening. And then a year ago, what did we... I don't know. Not a year ago anymore. Okay. Dime ends up saying some stuff. Soap ends up taking in a gigantic adventure through to the trade center. So that's fun. That was a long walking montage. I like how the section on water lasted twice as long. They're talking to Lemony. The sun's about to set now, and that's important, apparently. Why is that important? I don't know, but you just say yo to the sun. Yo, sun, can you not set? Nah, I got set, bro. Okay, so they're doing that. They end up deciding to sleep in a trash can, I guess. The other fellas is talking, and A is chilling until Ian, which we actually find out how that's spelled for the first time. E-Y-A-N, apparently. Ian. I was just thinking Ian like the name, but no, Ian ends up coming in. We never get to see. Do we ever get to see Potiony die? I don't think we ever get to see Potiony actually die. We get to see Potiony teleported at the end of BFAGOM 12. However, I don't think we ever get to see Potiony like dead. But either way, they come in last second and do a murder, of course, because they had the murdering A. So good job for them. So they managed to get the show gone. Wait, what do it? Wait, hold on, I'm trying to... Time to find... Okay, I don't know. The music's a little loud sometimes. Again, it depends on the line. It depends on who's talking. It depends on a lot of things. In the meantime, like, of course, this is the easiest piece of advice ever. Close Discord. Why are you letting people DM you while you are quoting the line? Oh my god, bro. Like, you get the Discord ping notif in the middle of the episode. Like, it's, I don't know. There's a lot of funny little things that happen still. Then when he does a dance, everybody comes in. I like the gag of Pill going, I want to look normal, so murder me. And then Strawberry's like, okay, and then we get to see from afar. Like, that's a fun gag. I like that. We end up having. Are you potioning? I don't. Who is this? This pink bottle. That you were potion, but potion got TP'd away. Didn't you get TP'd away? I don't know. You find a recovery center, anyways. Then you don't actually recover anyone with the recovery center. Okay, cool. And then we end up having, okay, we find Amethyst again, which is cool. Not as if we ever get to see Amethyst again. Okay, I'm sorry. What? Nah, I'm telling you. Because this is one of those shows that really tried, like, it really tests if it's like, okay, do I not pay attention sometimes? Or is the show not making sense? Because, I'm sorry. Lemon's in the city, goes out, sorry guys, I gotta go find Amethyst. Runs over back to the island, okay? Finds Amethyst, be like, oh my god, I found you. Amethyst says like 2 words. And then the next scene, Lemon's back in the trade center. What was the point of that? No, really. This something else? Did I miss it? Did I miss something? Or is that just an irrelevant scene that doesn't make sense? Because that's what it feels like. But it's like, I'm trying to give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to be like, oh, it's just hard to understand. But like, is it hard to understand, or is there just nothing to understand? You know? Because, like, what is that scene? What is that? What is it for? I don't know. I don't have the knowledge on this matter. It's there. I don't know. It's Amethyst didn't show up in the episode again. But yeah, the other people at the top come in, and Ian goes like, yo, I'm going to do the final challenge now because I murdered all of the hosts. My bad. Yet again, why did you murder all of the hosts? I don't really know, because you proceeded to just continue with the competition anyways. So I'm sure. The final challenge is a fight to the death to determine the Wait. The final 2 will have a fight to the death. So to determine the final 2, you are going to have a fight to the death. Okay, great. Good. Very creative challenge there, Ian. Everybody dies, but like off screen mainly, because we end up following like Crayon, who pretty much dips out of the way. Apparently Strawberry wants to confess to Dime, which is a thing that never happened before. But yeah, but eventually Strawberry but then Strawberry proceeds to disappear and not show up for the rest of the episode. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if there's like a major misunderstanding that's going on here, but I am not understanding these scenes. They're like, because then the other guy gets confused, Strawberry goes away, but like it's a weird, but like the reason is like, it's not that, oh, it can be serious, it's just that it's not a plot line that we know what happens to, because it doesn't show up for the rest of the episode, which means that they say the thing, the other fella comes in, finds Dime, then wants to tell Strawberry, is confused at where Strawberry has gone, right? But like, that's not a complete arc. We still don't know what happened, and we don't get to know what happened, right? Like, that's kind of the thing that's weird about it. Like, it does things, and then it does it 50%, you know? Like, it's kind of weird. But like, either way, Pale eventually makes it to the top against Lemony. However, eventually Pale manages to come in with a final PAW and get Lemony off the tower, which means that Lemony eventually manages to win. Wait, that was way faster than I expected. We don't even get to see Pale holding the prize. You don't get to see Pale with the glass of milk, but presumably Pale has won because, you know, the opponent has flown off. So good job, Pale. You won. Do you represent the show? Do you? I don't know what represents the show. I mean, probably Lemony. Lemony probably does represent the show the best, entirely because Lemony got the most screen time by probably double. Right? Like, it's probably like Lemony, Dime, and like everybody else is kind of in the middle. Because those two got so much screen time overall. That's actually crazy. The other stuff's an outro. That's overall pretty cool. I like this outro. And then the final thing that we get to see is a Phantom, who's like the pink fiery, end up going in the void, and then it's like, oh no. And then the show ends. Because remember, this is the finale. There is no more. So how are we ending a finale on a cliffhanger? I don't know, but we are certainly doing it, that's for sure. And that is BFAGOM, or Battle for a Glass of Milk. Now that is it's a show. I think it's a very interesting journey to watch, right? Because because it's a show that goes through a lot, right? Like, you'll notice it goes from like the lowest tier of quality, and then it manages to kind of rise, right? It rises in a lot of departments. However, at a certain degree, it stops, right? It's kind of like when when you have like in like the MMOs, right? You have like the character and it's like 5 stats, and when you level up, you get to input like points on each one of the stats. It's like it leveled up like 3 levels and it inputted the stats, but it didn't input them evenly, which means stats like animation, right, and like audio, for example, I think go up a bit. However, the other ones for like writing didn't go up too much, right? Like voice acting, I think, also didn't go up too much, right? So there's still aspects that we need to focus on improving for a potential future. However, a lot of them have improved, and a lot of them have improved mildly, right? But in general, I think that is the show in a healthy spot. I think that it's in a spot where you can clearly tell that it can. Alright, like, I believe that a show with these resources currently, it's possible for it to be good. I just think it needs a more concise idea of the writing that's happening, because like I'm telling you, I don't like so many of these scenes, they don't feel very purposeful, they don't feel like they make a lot of sense. I think that this challenge entirely negates the entire rest of the show, because everybody can compete in it. Ian murders every host, and no contestant is worried about this, right? No contestant even makes a question about it. Ian doesn't, after succeeding at their grand mission, doesn't do anything except just host themselves, right? So it's like I don't know on that, but you could just ask, like, but it's like there's these points. It's like I don't know what's going on with these shenanigans, right? And it's like it feels like there's context that's very vital context that the show doesn't give, or it does arcs at 50%, or like it does scenes that aren't needed, and it doesn't do scenes that are needed. So that's why it makes the show feel a little foggy, right? Like you're kinda watching something that makes sense, and then it hits you with a curveball, right? Like it's kind of, it plays confusing. So that's the general statement that I have to say on it. Now, of course, why am I giving tips to a show that's done? Because it doesn't seem like you want it to be done, because like you freaking ended it on a cliffhanger, and like the hosts are all still dead, right? So that's still a thing that's happening. Some of them are in the void. Like that's like there still feels that there's things to be solved here. Like it's not over. It's not happily ever after. So I don't know. I feel that stuff still got to go down here. But yeah, for BFAGOM, that was the journey. Let's do something else now. Next up, we're going to do some more new episodes that we previously missed. Starting off with the Cousin Trio Object Show. So the Cousin Trio Object Show is created by Jimbo, who is the creator of BFTTOP, or Trophy of Power, that we watched a bit when this, well, their other object show, the Cousin Trio Object Show. I'm not exactly sure what that means, however, we're just gonna watch it. It released 2 episodes in relatively quick succession. They're currently at chapter 4, apparently, it's chapters, not episodes, but we're starting with episode 1A, titled Mousetrap Mayhem, because there's a 1A and 1B, they both have the same, whatever. We're starting with episode 1A, go. So that is the Cousin Trio Object Show, episode 1A. And I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm just going to be fully honest, like 1,000,000% honest. That might be the longest feeling 6 minutes I think I've ever experienced. So little happens. It's actually crazy. And everything else that happens, you don't, like, I don't get it. Right? So, like, alright. We have, of course, the art style. This art style, you saw it in Battle for the Trivial Power as well. It's very rough, right? Like you can, like I think that's how you say it, right? It's very rough, right? You know, like it's not using fill tools. It's not really bothering with a lot of stuff. It uses like ginormous brush sizes, right? And that's why characters feel so chunky all the time. But they're also not colored in properly at all. They all have they all have the black limbs. However, again, since the brush size is so large, they look ginormous, right? So it doesn't look like anything at all. And like the characters, they apparently are things. Like one of them's called Tortilla Chip, and one of them is called Lemonade. What do I notice that? No. They all just look like differently colored squares. I'm gonna be 100% honest. There's like a friggin' the goat, I guess. And who else is there? There's the fireplace is what you're called. Like you look like a fire. You look like if Fiery was a dog. Like what is like I understand the idea, but it's kind of complicated. We end up having ourselves. Yeah, a part doesn't even get animated because we were bored. You have the intro. I like how the intro has. I'm sorry. How? Okay, no. Like. The intro has a credit on it. Wait, who made this intro? Hold on. Intro by Ian Vargas. I'm sorry. Who wants to take credit for this? You just put the text on the screen and didn't do nothing for 30 seconds. Not 30 seconds. More. For 50 seconds. Like, you didn't do anything. Does that even count? Does that even count? That's not a credit. I credit the text. I credit whoever made the font. Like, what in the world, bro? But yeah, okay. So, let's try to roughly break down what's happening here, because it's really hard to understand. But apparently, 18 people, okay, were invited to the auditorium, okay? Because they at the auditorium, I don't know what's going on at the auditorium. However, everybody gets invited and everybody goes together. Okay, and at the auditorium, this blue guy with a yellow face ends up being the host of a competition. I believe with the 18 people that were at the auditorium. So maybe that's what they were doing at the auditorium. However, one thing that you need to remember. An auditorium is indoors. This is grassland. What are we doing, bro? But okay, then they end up forming teams with debatable tiers of success. Again, I don't know what half of them are. No, genuinely, I could not tell you even a little bit. However, okay, the challenge. What is the challenge? No, no, I don't think there is a challenge. Yeah, one of the teams. Wait, what happens? Oh, okay. So what happens is they name their teams. Okay, all right, yes. So the lemur, whatever, goat, whatever you are, ends up naming their team Sketchy because their team has a lot of sketchy people on it. So their team's Sketchy. Okay, let's go with that. That's not even a bad name, but people are like, that's the worst name. And then Fireplace ends up getting on a debate with them. Because the name is stupid. No, actually, they don't. I think somebody else says that. But then Fireplace says the hit words, "You're irrelevant." Proper rice gum behavior. Then we end up having, and then they end up just kind of rage baiting by just saying, "You are irrelevant" 1,000,000 times. They murder the fella by burning them because they're Fireplace. And then we eventually invent a plan. We want to hear the plan. I say we take them through that portal. So, first, we chuck in his respawn point. Then, we close a portal. Then, we extinguish him with a fire extinguisher. And he'll get respawned in the other universe, and he'll never be able to bother us again. First of all, what portal are you on? I don't know, but okay, sure. Second of all, respawn point? What? There's a respawn point? What are you going to do? Take the Minecraft bed? What are you take the respawn point? Thirdly, I mean, this implies that you could not open a portal in the other universe, which, I mean, yes, usually people are incapable of opening portals, but I mean, if there's a portal right there that you can somehow close, that I mean, like, maybe this is a thing that people can do. So this is not the greatest plan of all time, but Campfire is not bothered at all. Campfire is like, you're still irrelevant. So like, I mean, fair enough, despite the fact that they are the character with the most screen time. So objectively, this goat fella is the most relevant character, but okay. And then they end up apparently I think they do the plan somehow, but magically. And then we end up seeing how the other team is doing, okay? Because we're now going into episode 1B of Mousetrap Mayhem. Mousetrap Mayhem. What Mousetrap, what Mayhem. Neither of those things have happened. Not much has happened. I'm gonna be 100% for real. But alright, then I'll give the faith. We have turned into chapters now because it's time for chapter 1B of the Cousin Trio Object Show. Mousetrap Mayhem. Go. Alright, so that is episode 1B of the Cousin Trio Object Show. So we have an intro that still takes about 50 seconds. We don't need an intro this long, but we end up having ourselves the teams getting complete. So we have team Sketchy, which is the one that we discovered the other time, and then the other people are just in team the nobodies, okay? Because they didn't pick a team, okay? All right, sure, that makes sense. Also, I enjoy how this implies that there was only one team ever being formed, right? Like the other people, they weren't trying to form different teams. No, it was just either they joined Team Sketchy or they didn't do anything. I like what. All right then. But yeah, so we have ourselves the challenge. So the challenge is very simple. Technically, it is you are going through a maze filled with mouse traps. Blindfolded. First team to get 3 members across will win. Now here we get the maze on screen. No, I'm just kidding. That is not a maze. That is a squig. What the fuck am I looking at? What is that? What is that? Now, that's not a maze. That's the top-down perspective of a Formula 1 track. You know? That's just the top-down perspective of a Formula 1 track. Look at it. It's got the turns and everything. It's got the smooth turns, the sharp turns. We got the fucking loop-the-loop, and it's in a perfect circle as well. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Like, what is this? What is this shenanigan that we're pulling out here? Yeah, we got to hear people get through. Nobody ever actually fails the maze, which means pretty easy maze. But yeah, some teams do it, and apparently the nobodies managed to do it because they managed to do it because Super Stapler and Brown E, like the letter E but brown, and Stapler but super, have made it through. Who are those people? I have never seen those two in my life. But okay, Super Stapler. I want to see those people. I want to see what Brown E looks like. Nah, but anyway, that means that the nobodies win. Everybody else is up for elimination. But however, we're getting fancy with it. We're doing contestant voting. I know, right? Crazy. So we end up having the eliminated contestant being Tater because they are mean. But yeah, goodbye. And therefore we have ourselves the end of episode 1. It's gonna be very interesting to see the next few episodes because none of them ever hit past 1.5 minutes after this, which is interesting considering, like, you know, this was long. At the end of the episode 1, if you combine the two of them, it's 9 minutes. So we're literally going 8 times shorter with these next chapters. So okay, then let's see what happens in chapter numero 2, which is titled New Chapter, New Host. Alright, that is chapter 2, my fancy name for a not very fancy episode. So we have a renewed intro that's 20 seconds shorter, only about 30 seconds this time. However, it is so 40 times more likely to give you a seizure. I know. It is, like, I guess this goes with a photosensitive warning. It's not that bad, but, like, yeah, it still does randomly flash white for literally no fucking reason. But, yeah, we have a guy called Ryan, who's just an image of like a lizard, ends up apparently being the new host. Why? I don't know. And they end up getting upset at something because Canvas Canvas or did something. So yeah, everybody on the nobodies is out except for Canvas. So I don't know, like, what is that? At 8 people elimination? Maybe. I don't know. You don't get a scene of it. Like, there might be that level of elimination, but I don't know. And then the challenge is to find a co-host. It just so happens that a cookie named Suki ends up finding it, and then Tortilla Chip ends up finding the cookie named Suki, and then the cookie named Suki gets delivered to the host, and then for Suki the cookie is not the co-host because they're the best co-host, because even though we did one of those challenges that's the best, so it's not first to find me a co-host, it's best co-host, but we're not giving any more time for people to find the co-host. We're just going with the first option that we have. Okay, bro. You do you, I guess. Yeah, the episode just kind of ends. There's really not much else to say. Look, this show's kind of goofy. Let's just keep it moving. Chapter 3, the modern ones, the ones from a couple days ago, the stupidest episode. Go. Alright, new chapter, new host. Who is this? Red Circle. Yippee! We have another renewed intro that yet again slowly getting shorter. Is it even getting short? No, it's still 30 seconds. But it's not freaking seizure inducing, so that's better. But yeah, we have ourselves the challenge. It's very simple. Challenge, draw. Whoever has the best drawing will win. But yet again, no, incorrect. It's just the first drawing wins because the drawing of trash created by Watch ends up being the one to win automatically. So that means that, look, these contestants, they gotta start clocking the system. That, like, both in the last challenge and in this challenge, how have you won? You have simply won by being the person who gets to see it first, right? If you do something competent and are the first to show it, you will win. So you just have to do the bare minimum. You have to speed run and get to the front of the line to get your shit seen. Otherwise, you will not be able to win. Because if you are not first, you lose. So yeah, I don't know who gets out. Because, like, I don't, at this point, like, do people even get out? I don't think, I don't fucking know. They show us whatever it wants. You think it has eliminations? Whatever, bro. I don't know. There's not much else to say about it. Let's go to the other episode that released on the same day. It was titled IDK. Let's go. And there it is, the 4th chapter of the show. You can tell that not a lot going on, because remember, the titles, I don't know. There's no reason for it to be. We just did, like, I believe that this is on. I believe that we just didn't have a title. The intro is the same, because obviously it released on the same day. But yeah, our challenge for the day is to charge Watch. Why? I don't know, but we end up doing it. There's a mild change in how these are written, because remember in the past episodes there were the extremely long lines, like, the extremely large brush sizes that we're drawing in the limbs. So here, I mean, it's better with the smaller limbs, right? Because first of all, there's just physically more space on the screen, and the design can stick out a bit further. Again, the designs are still, of course, roughly the same, but yeah, a red square, who happens to be something, and the murdering the Watch, who is probably a Watch. I don't know. They look more like a, I don't know. They look like a black square with 2 windows. Ends up eventually getting revived alongside the red thing, and I guess they win. Yes. I don't know. Yet again, I don't know who's getting eliminated. Are people getting eliminated, or does this matter? What is happening? I don't know. We have glossed over every detail of everything. However, look, I don't know, and I don't think it's in my position to judge this too much, because, I mean, like, come on, you're looking at it, right? Like, it's not gonna be the greatest piece of media ever invented. Like, am I gonna really ask, oh, you should do better writing? Like, bro, let's just look at it. Alright, so, yeah, that's all I can really say about it. It's the Cousin Trio Object Show. We have certainly watched it, alright? Next thing. Alright, next up we're gonna take a look at yet another Magic 8 object show. They seem to prop up relatively often. This one is titled Niche, and I don't know what it is. It's 4 minutes long. However, all I know is that we're gonna watch it. Alright, I have no idea what to expect from this. I just know that it's a thing that is out there in the world, and I should watch it. So, alright then, it's titled Too Hot to Handle. It's 4 minutes. It's already built itself 30,000 views because Magic 8 gets the views for sure. Let's watch it. Alright, so that is episode 1 of Niche. So it's an interesting little show that we have here. It's a show where we have Kyle from South Park, I think, hosting a show with a set of contestants who certainly do exist. What do we think about these contestants? Let me try to get the full cast picture in. Okay, so we have some like water blob thing. I didn't quite catch her name. Sandpaper. Light roller, that's like a traffic light, but you know, it's like on a roll of paper, with green, yellow, and red. Red's of course angry, green is more chill, and yellow, it's kind of the excited middle. There's like the tooth thing, I don't know what it's called. There's You Are an Idiot, yeah, as the non-speaking character a lot. There's the Recovery Center, who doesn't have a face, but is interesting. There's a Pickle, who kind of speaks in bro language. There's the Egg Timer, who's a little bit overconfident of their capabilities. And then there's a water thing. The plastic, you know, the things in the water that you heat up, and then it will go super hot, and then you can put on your like one of those. But yeah, so that is the cast, and then Kyle hosts the show with them. It's a relatively simple show. We end up having the challenge be surviving the one chip challenge, which only about 3 people do. The water fella, the recovery center who has no mouth, and the bone fella ends up managing to do it. Not everybody else ends up dying, either by burning to a crisp, but by just dissipating. And yeah, I'm surprised that yes, Red died in the Rolly thing, but like, you know, 2 of them are still alive. That's like 66% of the characters still alive, right? Like, they didn't, like, you know, 66%. But yeah, then we end up having the elimination, where everybody gets to pick one character to be safe, as well. So basically, they can play. Basically, the contestants have the capability of voting one character out of the elimination procedure, while everybody else is still up for elimination for viewer voting. This, I mean, like, it's okay. The one thing that goes with this is that I don't think, like, as far as the classic detail, how can vote, sorry, I hit the microphone, in the classic question, how can vote to eliminate gets better, I don't think this is a solution, because at the end of the day, right, like, vote to eliminate is very bad to characters who are dislikable, but the thing about characters who are dislikable is that, you know, the cast also dislikes them because they're dislikable, right? So they're very unlikely to ever save somebody who would be in danger in general. So I don't really think that it matters. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's okay. It was a fine watch. As with Magic 8 stuff, it gets paced pretty well. It's pretty alright. It's inspired by Glurk, which is one of the shows by Earmuffer. I was supposed to watch Cartman's show because I got it recommended to me, and then right as I was about to watch it, got like unlisted or got like taken down, and then since I've just kind of been waiting to see if it ever comes back up, it hasn't, so I don't think it will. I think Cartman's show's just dead. We're like, oh no, I'll put the videos back up. No, you won't. So like, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, this show's okay. However, it's kind of one of those things where, like, it feels a little bit complicated because it's like, where does it fit within like the ecosystem, you know? Because it's like, at the end of the day, as people, right, you have a limited amount of time to make things, and it's like, okay, so we're making ties. That's like the mainline show. It's got other people working on it and all that jazz, right? So that's the mainline show. Then there's like the pastime, right, which gets turned into a real show called Interstellar, which is going to be apparently a big deal. However, it's doing the thing that YOLO does from Zombie Turtle, where death is permanent, so that means that there won't be that many episodes. However, it's still going to be the bigger deal show. which means that this niche ends up sort of replacing what like Benson's battle, right, or object pastime ends up being, right? It ends up kind of replacing it in the world, right, of like simpler things. Niche does, because it does that. But then it's one of those things where it's kind of weird, right? Because it's like, okay, I mean, yeah, this isn't an object full style thing like Benson's battle was, but at the end of the day, like, it's not that far off, is it? Like, if you really think about it, you know, especially what Benson's battle was becoming. Like, at the end of the day, it's a show done in no environment with relatively simple, with not a large cast of characters, doing a relatively simple challenge in a couple of minutes, right? And having basic character interactions, and then people get voted to eliminate, right? Like, really, it's not too much here has really changed. So, from like the baseline, you know, like I'm not like, so basically I don't exactly know if this show is going to fit into the ecosystem of Magic 8 shows too well, because if we scrapped stuff like object pastime for not really being interested in making these simpler style shows and simpler style things, is this really going to be different? Why is it gonna be different, right? Like, I don't know, maybe it is, right? I don't know Magic 8, right? Like, I don't know the thought process that goes behind it. However, I still want to state what I'm thinking from the outside perspective, that like, I'm not sure why these two are different that much, right? But yeah, anyways, that's niche. Let's do the next thing. Alright, next up, it's time for some more Fight for Rupees. So, Fight for Rupees is a show by MiniBoy that we watched, the Object Point inspired one. So, last time we had yet again another host dropping in at last second called Mab. And they were coming in. We got Frank Ocean to drop new music, and then the other fellas were up for elimination. In the meantime, the fellas that are trying to take over the show have successfully infiltrated the star fella, right? That was doing, you know, that was wanting to take over the world. Let's see how that progresses in episode 13 of The Box. Alright, that is Fight for Rupees 13, what seems to be the second to last episode in theory of the series. So Mab ends up getting wondered about what their gender is. They have a big debate over this, because of course they do. And then Mab is gender fluid, officially confirmed. I don't know if that applies to all of the orbs or just this one. But Mab is gender fluid. Good job. And then the TV co-host fella who wakes up from the slumber ends up being like, "What the fuck you?" And then they end up fetching over Marble again, because they Marble. What are you? Whatever. Because they felt, you know, they were drunk, they were sad because they got the bad review. Like, whatever, go get back here. So they end up hosting the elimination, and the eliminated contestant ends up being UK Flag with 11 votes to 10, which is not a lot, not a big difference at all. I think if I remember correctly, I predicted Soda Can to get eliminated, but like, whatever. One vote got wrong. Damn it. And yeah, and then the final challenge. Well, there isn't a final challenge. The final challenge is, I guess, to survive your peers. All right, your peers will be voting on who they want to get eliminated out of this final three. And yeah, it's interesting because a lot of the early elimination don't even know about Soda Can. Theoretically, they shouldn't. So like, there's kind of some interesting shenanigans going on there. And it turns out that after a 3-2-1 vote, we have Curry Chicken eliminated, because of course they are. We end up doing a little bit of a racism, and, you know, after doing a little bit of a racism, the characters, they end up eliminated the Curry Chicken, which is unfortunate. Which means that we end up having the final two, Soda Can and Soda Can. Which one should win the competition? I don't really know. Which one do I think is going to win the competition? Okay, I think that, as far as who represents the show the best, I do think that it's probably Soda Can. Because Soda Can, as far as the contestants of this show have gone, has done very little. Soda Can has just kind of like, you know, rode the wave super under the radar, barely did anything eventful at all in a show where nearly everybody does something extremely eventful. Soda Can, not really done that much, which means that they don't really represent kind of the chaotic nature of the show. Soda Can represents a little bit more of the chaotic nature, represents a little bit more of the rapping nature, you know, got Frank Ocean to drop music, and all of that jazz. So I think they probably make sense. I also want to say this vote to win screen is very good. This screen is great. This is a great graphic design. I actually like this a lot. But yeah, and then we end up having ourselves the star fella. You had a name. I'm sorry. Whatever. I forgot. Ends up spawning in the minions that look like freaking movie tickets, and they will take over the fields and capture the contestants. Capture marble. And there we go. Apparently, what is episode 14 apparently called, according to the outro? It is apparently called Sing About Me, I'm Dying First. So, okay then, I guess. And yeah, that is the current state of it. It seems like I was expecting a little bit more of the initial attack to come in. However, it's looking like it's going to be all in episode 14. My prediction is that episode 14 is not the finale, even though it gets said that even though with the logic it should be, because we have the voting here. I believe that episode 14 they're going to try to do the finale, and then the attack is all going to come in, right? And then they're going to need to run away, and it's an epic battle for like 5 minutes, right? And then afterwards, it's cliffhanger, episode ends, and then episode 15 is going to be the finale where they defeat, and then we end up crowning the winner. That's my expectation, because ending on 15 is just a lot more satisfying than ending on 13, and there's not a lot, I don't know how much was said, you know, yeah, nothing saying that, stay tuned for the finale, right? So I don't know. I don't think it's the finale. I'm gonna be 100% for real. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see it. You know, Object Point did the same. It tried a last second takeover of the show, by an evil entity with like power and everything. So we'll see how this show does the same plot line. All right then. Good luck to you, I guess, on making it. And all right, next thing. Alright, the next show that we're going to be taking a look at is a TOSSTIF, because on the day that I reviewed the episode show sequel that is filler, after the last 3 episodes, there was another one that was about to release. Oops. I tend to do that rather often, it turns out. But yes, the object show sequel that is filler 7 released. Apparently, I think it's the non-competition episode that we were teased. It is titled Downtime. So, alright, then let's watch it. It's 5:50 in length. Then we'll talk all about it. Alright. Alright, so that is the object show sequel that is filler number 7, Downtime. So, non-competition episode. Did it go well? The verdict of Eternal the Second is, yeah, it actually went quite well. So, let's see what we even have here. It seems like there's a split path, pretty much, what's going on. Rubbish ends up finding some sort of computer thing that's in this location because they know about it somehow, and they end up wanting to be alone, solo there, so they send Soap away, and as long as they distract Whoopee Cushion, do whatever it is that they're supposed to do, as long as they just don't go to that place, okay, don't go to where Rubbish is, they'll be fine, okay. So, sure, they are doing that, and in the meantime, we have ourselves the main people. So, Color Paper ends up questioning, yo, do you want to go to the cafe that exists now that it is a place? So they end up going to the cafe, and Questioning goes like, yo, I never had coffee. Like, what even is it? Nah, they don't say that because that would be a question. And Questioning don't ask questions no more. Okay, that's the New Year's resolution. And then we end up having Color Paper order them some coffee. They try to drink the coffee, and it goes debatably not very well. But first, Soap presses a button. It makes Logie really want to do a debut. That is the do a debut button that happens to exist as well. Logie wants to do a debut now. And in the meantime, yes, the question, he tries coffee, it spews it out. It is not very good, apparently. So yeah, you know what? That is me. I don't drink coffee. I mean, I wouldn't spit out coffee, but I wouldn't. It's like, I'm not like a gigantic fan of it either. So yeah, I don't drink coffee. So shout out to question it, just like me, for real. But yeah, they get together, they're chilling out, and then eventually you start to notice with the 20% opacity blush, that question he has, that they're starting to feel things, and right as they're about to feel things, okay, I'm sorry, you just know, okay, instinctively, okay, I have a feeling that this show is going to do the thing where Questiony is gonna ask one day, it's gonna be like episode whatever, right? And those two are gonna be together, and it's gonna be an exciting moment, and then Questiony is gonna be like, what is this that I'm feeling? And then the other person's gonna go like, it's love. And then because the question, he asks the question, and then it's like gonna be absolute cinema, but also the cheesiest thing of all time at the same time. You just know that is what is going to happen. But for the meantime, they get interrupted by Film Reel that comes in to the cafe, because they felt, they wanted to drink coffee sometime, and they apparently like the coffee here, and they go here whenever they're stressed. Film Reel, I have a feeling you have a lot of ways to not be stressed. Are you stressed constantly? This can't be your reason for everything that you do. Why do you do this? Oh yeah, I do it when I'm stressed. I'm sorry. Okay, you're always stressed then. Okay, got it. But yeah, they end up talking with it. I wish I were more like you, because you're always open to people and everything. So they have their whole conversation there. And in the meantime, we end up having a debut. Yes, debut time. 20 people are up for debut. Who's gonna join? I don't know. As usual, I don't think the show gets enough votes to really exactly properly outweigh the pulling power. If just a recommender has a lot of people that can vote for them, then they can probably just win the voting. However, it's going to be interesting to say, who would I put into the show? Alphabet Soup. Obviously, that is so cool. You make the fucking word with the alphabet, like soup, and then with it you get the physical thing. So you could just type anything and it'll make the thing. That is fire. Get this character in the show immediately. Fast track. We don't even need voting. That is by far the coolest character idea here. I wish that it was like there was one of each letter. That way, like, they can make anything, but with a restriction that it cannot use a letter twice, right? So that way they can't form the word. Like they would still have a limited supply of letters. But yeah, overall, I mean, no, sorry. A bunch of these characters are cool, right? And there's some solid characters you put on them. But, I mean, absolutely, Alphabet Soup's the coolest one here. For me, it's not even a competition. And then, in the meantime, Rubbish, with their hand, ends up finding the computer. So this is the computer within Logie, who's, I guess, a robot. Ends up where the contestants are. So we get to see info about them, whether they are alive, whether they're important, whatever that means, whether they were done by Loki or whether they were done by WC. I don't know who that is. However, yes, we get to see a bunch of information with a bunch of people. So like the thing is alive as number one. Then there's a bunch of other people who some of them are important. I wonder if these might be the contestants from an original season, like the original seasons, the Universe 1, because a bunch of them are important but never appearing. Like, why is Bomb important if they don't exist? I don't know, it's kind of weird, right? But anyway, they find them and think, whoa, if I remember now, this is a lot worse. I don't, look, Rubbish, you've somehow known about this. We need the backstory episode ASAP. But yeah, overall, that was a non-competition episode. It's cool, we're seeing the plot lines develop roughly with the characters. I do, okay, it's one of those things where it's like, I do feel like there is a little bit, of like a primary focus being placed on these characters, like for, because it's always just a complication of when a show doesn't have too much time to work with, right? Like, it can't make 10-minute episodes, which means that in general it has to kind of lock in on the arcs it wants to do, otherwise it's just not going to be able to do them properly, right? Which means that other characters, like for example Fing, what is Fing currently up to? I don't know, and quite frankly I currently don't care because nothing has been put in the show to make me care about that many other characters, right? So, like, well, maybe it's not going 100%, like, well, maybe it's not properly dispersing the screen time or whatever, right? It's making characters way more interesting than other characters. I still do think that, like, it's doing a relatively good job, you know, it doesn't have a lot of time to work with, so just, yeah, I perfectly understand, you know, just lock in on the arc, make the one arc good, so that at least be like, oh, yeah, I like the show with this thing, right? But yeah, overall, solid. I enjoyed the downtime, and now we can, you know, head, into the next episode, whatever it's gonna be. I don't know. But yeah, alright, next thing. Woohoo! Alright, next up we will be chatting about BFCI. So BFCI is a show that has started to exist yesterday, created by Stan, or however you're supposed to say this name. I still don't know. Who is the creator of BFPIG, who is that large cast slop show, as they quote-unquote said. Well, this is their show. It has had 2 episodes in 2 days, so it's looking like it's a daily type of thing that we're going to be chatting about quite often. But we're starting, but we're just going to see what it is, starting with episode 1, New Era. Go! Alright, welcome to BFCI, also known as What If BFDIE was made like minutely rather than the weekly. So we have a 30-second show with 6 contestants, a star can, a ketchup bottle, a fire flower, just like a guy, just like a stick man. They're not a statement, just a guy, kryptonite, a vest, and then that's it. That's the cast. There are 2 teams, Team Neem and Team Leapers. And in the first challenge, which is 2 KYS, the fire flower manages to somehow just plonk dead on the floor. Fun fact, have you ever tried to just mysteriously die by not doing it without any items or tools while just standing there? It's surprisingly not easy to do. So I must admit, I don't know how the fire flower has done this. Do I care? Not really. That's episode 1. The other team's up for elimination. Star Cola, Safety Vest, Kryptonite. Who's getting eliminated? I don't fucking know. Kryptonite, let's say that. Episode 2, Friendly. Alright, that is episode 2, so we get confirmation there's going to be a debut in episode 3, because of course there is. And now we have ourselves, the eliminated contestant is actually Kryptonite, somehow I clocked it with all 3 votes. The challenge, to jump over 3 recommended contestants with a relatively cool jump, like freaking diagonal camera angle jump thing. A Star Cola managed. No, that actually was kind of a sick animation. Whether they managed to jump over them, kind of. You could say they jumped around them technically, but whatever. And that means that the other team is up for elimination. Ketchup, Fireflower, or Little Tin with extra little. Who's getting eliminated? I'm gonna say Catchup gets eliminated because they're the most boring design here. But it could be Little Tin with extra little, because that name does, you know, like bring in. You know, it like points out that it's a thing, right? Anyways, it's interesting considering there's like no time at all to vote, so like it's kind of difficult to imagine. Are they even gonna be votes at a certain point? Like, so what, you have like 2 minutes to vote? I don't know, but yeah, I mean, good luck to the show. I guess it's fine. Star Cola gives me winner vibes, but we're gonna have to see every day, bro. I guess. All right, let's go next. Alright, another day, another TUOS Horizon. So, in the last episode, we took a look at episode 5 of TUOS Horizon, which indeed just so happened to be the same day that the next episode released. So last time we got to figure out the backstory on our villainous character, Camellia, who has been harnessing the power of the orbs, featuring a bunch of researchers. However, they fired all of them after a slip-up, including Top Hat, one of the contestants. They team up with a bug to harness the power of the orb, but then proceed to kick out to the bugs who are trying to defeat Orb, the host, in the last second, and now all the power is theirs. What will happen in episode 6, Bloom of Destruction? Let's find out. Here goes. Alright, that is the finale of TUOS Horizon 6, Bloom of Destruction. And you know what? It does go by kind of fast, I'm not gonna lie. Considering this was advertised as that final season, right? No more TUOS after this. It doesn't feel that much like a send-off, you know? It kind of feels more like, it does feel like an end of season in the way that the other TUOSs have been end of seasons, but like it doesn't feel grand. It doesn't feel grander, right? In a way, right? Which is interesting because like, okay, that's kind of interesting, right? So it's like, okay, they're maybe leaving the door open for more to happen. Later on in the future. So anyways, we get the eliminated contestants back. Of course, we played the intro again, this time not in the nighttime mode as it was before. We end up having 22 votes, the record, and the winner is Toppa with 13. That makes perfect amounts of sense. I mean, like we were doing, it was pretty much like Toppa is a much more interesting winner at the end of the day, right? Because like there's the lore going on at Toppa. You know, there's people searching for Toppa. The villains are out to get Toppa and everything, right? So like that stuff and this interesting. And while Teacup is having some cute interactions over with the other people, like it's not really as interesting. So yeah, absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. And then right as they're about to get their token, the other Pearly fellas arrive from the shadows to compliment Top Hat, Pearl, you know, the freaking coin and the perfume. However, Camellia arrives. 2 years of waiting, and they have the power they deserve. They attack Orb, get him down, and they're about to murder them until hold on a minute. The Scarlet wait, what is it called? The Scarlet Calyx, the thing that exists. Was this previously mentioned? Is this a previously mentioned item? I feel like I've not seen this before. However, you know, again, like I watched these episodes, you know, it's been a couple of weeks since I watched the first few episodes. I feel like I've not seen the Scarlet Calyx before, because I would remember if I did, but I don't. So I mean, maybe it was a thing. Was it? I don't know. But like, yes, the Scarlet Calyx comes in, and it's apparently lethal to plants. It literally can't touch anything. And it just so happens that, I'm gonna be 100% honest, extremely fucking conveniently, there just so happens to be one. I'm sorry, there's like nothing in these lands. Remember, that was like the joke a couple of episodes ago with the tree, that there's nothing in this area, there's a fucking nothing, and then there's a fucking Scarlet Calyx right there, and Toppa knows exactly where it is. Feels a bit convenient. However, yes, it gets yeeted at the Camellia, and they end up disintegrating into dust, and saving the universe. Good job, good job. Definitely felt like a little bit of a plot device. I'm not gonna lie, but like it was solid. They get the game token, so now they can play every arcade game or whatever. And yeah, Orb says that they need a break, and that is the end of TUOS Horizon. Good job on the season. Overall, I mean, it was a solid season. As far as seasons of TUOS goes, I think that is pretty solid. It definitely plays, I think, a little bit at the detriment of like the actual personality. So because, you know, by doing lore like to this degree, I feel like I've not really gotten to understand too much of how these people are. But like, I haven't really too much in the other seasons of TUOS, right? Because like the thing about TUOS is that you have so little time to work with, right? But yeah, especially with the lore, I definitely do think that Horizon probably, I would definitely say, is the best season, right? Although, of course, it does not have my favorite contestant, the mini balls from Flip Out. Those were the best contestants to have ever existed in an object show. But like, other than that, they were this season was definitely better, of course, in terms of lore. I would have added another, like, okay, I would have still added another episode. I do feel like episode 4 was still very, very rushed in terms of like rushing through the entire competition. And I probably would have maybe given another episode to the battle, because with the fact that, we get like 3 episodes of a build up here for this grand Camellia arrival, right? It is a little weird how the Camellia arrival lasts for a minute and a half, right? Like, I feel like it should probably have gone an episode. So I think, like, if it had 8 episodes, I think that would have been the perfect length for this season for sure. However, look, I mean, it's one of those things where say make more content. Like, come on, at a certain point, it's like I can say that I think it would have been better. However, at the end of the day, you can't. What is there is perfectly fine, and it was solid, and it was a fun time. And at the end of the day, what matters is that it was fun to watch, and it was fun to watch. Okay, so good job on the season. No idea what you're making next, because apparently it's the final season of TUOS, and I don't think we've not had another show since TUOS properly get made, so it'll be interesting to see what Crispy TV is going to be up to next. However, for the meanwhile, I guess that's it for the Crispy TV catch-ups for at least for a bit. I mean, I don't know, we fucking make episodes weekly over here. Maybe it was TUOS season 0. But yeah. Alright. Next thing. Alright, next up, another little chapter of Nake. So, last time, as usual, the puzzle keeps on going with the very sad symbol, because they never win a challenge. They try to press the button over there. They can't quite do it, because who presses the button. It was somebody else. I forgot who it actually was. I think it was the dumpling. In the meantime, Stu might be possessed by fandom. Zeke, he's very confused about something, and it's showing everybody a paper. What is going on? Let's see if we get to any more info in Nake's perfect vision. Okay, look, I never know what's going on with this series. What an episode. I mean, stuff happens. Okay, so, we end up having Zedkey show off Phantom and ends up freaking crushing Stu so that they die. And that means that a Phantom pops out, and Phantom ends up being, I'm sorry, because they had to possess the fella, okay, which is not something I clocked at all. I don't know how people clock this. I mean, other than, I guess you can narrow it down by saying, Stu hasn't had, like, you see, it requires a lot more thinking than I'm capable of putting in with 1 minute, right? Because I put in, of course, like one, like I start these sections right after I watch the episode. I mean that, like, there's way more to these than I can reasonably muster up the thoughts to have, right? But like, okay, so it's like, Stu wasn't, his face never seen, and Phantom got threatened that they need Stu to go, so they tried possessing Stu because we saw how they tried to possess Nake and it didn't work. Okay, fair enough, I guess. Like, that makes sense. Okay, but then Phantom's are you gotta stand up for yourself or something. But apparently you can't, because he's right behind you, because apparently that is the reason this fella, this true 20th contestant who fucking shoots Zedkey, I do not know what you are. You're like a fucking, like a spear dust blower. I don't know what this is. Like, what object this is, I have no idea, but they look badass. They probably look like a boss. They have a shotgun and everything. And yeah, they just so happen to absolutely delete symbol off. And I guess they're a contestant, maybe. Who knows, to be honest. But yeah, that's interesting. You know what? Look, whatever Phantom Theory was, the people clocked it, okay? Because Phantom eventually ended up getting eliminated. They go over into the underworld. And yeah, the ones who lost. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I will say, though, it was very, very cinematic reveal of a character. I'm not gonna lie. It's feeling like we're getting there. There's only 3 characters up for Elam now and everything. Like, we're getting there. There's not that many more episodes to go, probably, of Nake. 5, maybe. So we're Dumpling probably still has to get eliminated. So yeah, shit's happening. Shit's on the road. And yeah, I mean, look, I still 100% believe all my opinions of Nake, that I think that definitely in the middle game, it's too impossibly confusing to ever understand. But at this rate, again, when there's less characters and like less potential avenues, right? When the decision tree has narrowed, I think it's quite fun, right? To speculate. I'm not going to do much of the speculating because I have no idea. However, all I'm saying is I'm rooting for y'all Nake theorizers to to sort this out, because I don't know, but y'all sure can put way more time into it than I reasonably can. So good luck. Alright, last two things super fast and then we'll be done. The first thing, Tomater, or Tomater is cool, who was the creator, if I'm not mistaken, of what happened, what show was it? The Square Rootly Object show, that we took a look at originally. Well, that, which doesn't even exist anymore, but they have released an episode 1 on another show, Object Goofball. Let's do a little bit of Object Fool shenanigans, probably. 38 seconds, go. Alright, we do indeed have an Object Fool, so we end up having Photo Album, the host, to make the challenge, make a beautiful sound. A character called Two-Ball manages to make a Samsung Ring notification sound, which means that they win. The other character is Banana Chocolate, looks more like a graph. We have Green Coin, who, yes, is a green coin. Calendar, July 14th, for some reason. Fuzzy Dice, I like this character design. They're like both combined. It's like the thing that dangles off the car. Yes, the green coin. We have a character just called No. That's just a squiggle. Okay, great. Strawberry Lemonade. Sure, let's go with that. That's cool. Wooden disc. That's fine. Very, very large eyes. Like, you can really tell. Like, the style of like, even Square Rootly Object Show out, the eyes are just so big. It kind of looks cool. I wouldn't mind a full show with this, but still not exist. Alright, next. Alright, and the last super quick thing is Runners, released 4 hours ago, but sure, I'll cover it. Created by quonndog, which is the creator of COTC, which we watched a while ago. They also make Concept, which is not a thing that has released an episode yet. So yeah, I don't even know, like, is Concept done? I don't have no idea. But we have ourselves Runners, who's 46 seconds long, so I have no idea what this is, but it already has 1,000 views because of the creator, so let's see. Okay, so, thing that I just watched. I mean, I'm intrigued. I don't know what it is. I feel like other people do know what this is. I feel like this is like a thing. I don't know what style this is, but basically, okay. So, a person has been yeeted out of a hole into, this empty landscape where there's like walls everywhere. It's like a rough grassland, and then there's cereal bowls there. They try to touch the border. It doesn't work. I don't think they end up ever actually touching the wall, but it like makes a noise, so they end up backing out quickly. And then they proceed to hear a sound. And then they get super upset at this sound. It's like boom, right? So I don't really know what's happening. Another chamber locks up, I guess. The chamber where I think they got sent from. They open up a bag and there's, like dirt in there. I don't know what's in that bag. And there we go, Runners. So, yeah, we can send somebody in, so presumably to join them. Recycling wing, dinosaur egg, or tie. Okay, let me look at the comments. Hold on. What is this? Maze Runner. What is Maze Runner? Hold on, because I just don't know what this is. Maze, like I'm not cultured enough. Maze Runner. What is Maze Runner? The Maze Runner is a science fiction film. It is the first, let me see. Large group in Alaska glassy area. Tom is attacked by Ben, a runner who was stung and left delirious by what? I'm trying. What is a Maze Runner? Only to be delivered to him in the middle of an intricate maze, along with many other boys have been trying to find a way out of an ever-changing labyrinth. All while establishing... What? I feel like this is not giving me a great description of what this is. What is this? They're trapped in a maze. Okay. Where they have to run. They have to run away from the maze. Okay. I mean, sure. Is that what this is? So this guy's just in a maze now? And we're just sending somebody into the maze. Oh, I guess that might be an entrance. Oh, okay. Alright. Interesting. Sure. I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I have not seen Maze Runner. I do not know what it is. However, look, I will trust it. And, yeah, I guess we'll see who gets sent in, and we'll see if they ever actually explored the maze. Because, I mean, this guy didn't do nothing. This guy came in here 12 seconds ago, tried to touch a wall, and got yeeted. So, it's not... I don't know. Alright, then. Okay. Yes. Maze Runner, whatever it is. Let's do ourselves an outro. Alright, so with that, that is going to be all for today's episode of Object Catchup. We're finally starting to get caught up with shit, I know, right? As far as episodes from previously covered creators, we're there, right? As of this exact moment, we are there, which is nice for that to be true. However, we still, of course, gotta do requests. We're starting to get there. New stuff has released that I should probably get to. I think I know about one or two things I should probably take a look at outside of the ecosystem. Yeah, in the meantime, I'll work on some other stuff as well. But yes, it's nice to have this video starting to get requests done, starting to get there. Because the past few episodes I've been kind of disappointed because it's like realistically I wanted this full keep up to be one video, but instead it turned into episode 69 all the way to 71, and there's 2 break days in the middle. So what should have taken me 2 days maybe took 5, right? And 6 with this one. So we're starting however to neutralize a little bit to get back on the board, okay, I would say, even though this episode doesn't technically have a main theme in sense of what I've properly covered, I haven't covered something popular or whatever, but either way, this is the type of thing that's gonna be needed from time to time. I'm satisfied for once. And we can get catch up with more proper systems in place starting from next from this episode. We start more systems in place, getting a little bit more organized coverage of stuff now that we're not superbly far behind, and yes, all right, we're getting there. See you for the shows that we watched today. We're all caught up. See you next time. Goodbye.